Cost of employment on the rise. Cost of employment has been steadily on the rise. In this presentation, I will evaluate the rising cost of employment. I will discuss what is involved in compensation costs, increases in the cost of education and their effect on employment costs, inflation versus deflation effects, cost trends, and the causes of increases and decreases in employment costs. I have evaluated data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Department of Labor for this presentation to investigate the cost of employment over the last 20 years in the United States. Cost of employment can include taxes owed to the government and wages owed to employees, and can increase employment costs. Inflation also plays a major role in the cost of employment. What is the biggest factor in employment costs? Could it be the portion of benefits and wages? Perhaps it's mainly inflation. Could increases in higher education be to blame? I will be answering these questions by providing graphical data and statistics to describe why employment costs may increase or decrease in the future. We can evaluate the compensation cost by using the Employer Cost for Employee Compensation, or ECEC. According to the ECEC, wages and salaries make up about 2/3 of the cost of employee compensation, while benefits only made up 1/3. The ECEC states that as of March 2016, wages and salaries were 68.5% of compensation for civilian workers, 69.7% for private industry workers, and 63.6% for state and local government workers. Benefits attributed to 31.5% of compensation costs for civilian workers, 30.3% for private industry workers, and 36.4% for state and local government workers. We can compare the costs of wages and salaries from 20 years ago in 1996 and now in 2016 in order to get a better understanding of the price change that occurred. In 1996, the average cost of wages and salaries in the United States was $13.48 per hour. The price increased to $23.35 per hour in 2016. That's an increase of $9.87 per hour, a few dollars away from doubling. Benefits also experienced an increase during this time frame. Benefits can include retirement, paid leave, supplement pay, and insurance. These items have increased in demand over the last 10 years. In 1996, the cost of benefits averaged $5.34 per hour. They have now increased to $10.70 per hour as of March 2016. That means the cost of benefits has doubled over the last 20 years. Higher education demand has been increasing in the United States despite the increases to college premiums over the last 30 years. The main reason for this increased demand is the decrease in the amount of low-wage jobs available. Since there have been fewer low-wage jobs, young people have been staying in school longer in order to obtain higher-level skills. Increases in skill will allow these students for better pay in their jobs. In 2014, the average income that a high school graduate received was $30,000, while the average income for workers in a bachelor's degree was $49,900. Employers are paying more to compensate these higher-skilled workers. This graph shows the average number of people over 25 years old who have completed a bachelor's degree in the United States. In 2006, about 27% of people had completed a bachelor's degree. By 2012, just 6 years later, this percentage had risen to 29.1%. While the increase appears to be slow, it is still steadily increasing. Inflation and deflation both can play major roles in our economy. Inflation is defined as an increase in the prices of goods and services. Deflation is defined as a decrease in the prices of goods and services. Inflation occurs over time due to increases in the cost of goods and can be measured by the inflation rate. When inflation rises, cost of goods and services will increase, as well as the cost for employee compensation. A salary in 2006 may seem like a small amount to us today, but was likely similar to 2016 dollars when you factor in the inflation rate. We can use the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, to measure the inflation rate, and we do so later in this presentation. Deflation is rare in the United States and can be more damaging to the economy than most people realize. Consumers tend to hold out on buying goods and services when prices are decreasing because they expect the price to continue to decrease. When no one is buying, the real interest rate increases and adds to the cost consumers need to pay. If you were to buy a piece of land during a period of deflation, you would be paying a significantly higher amount than you would be paying during a period of inflation due to the real interest rate being higher. Deflation causes businesses to devote more money to the cost of interest, preventing them from setting aside more money for their employees. Measuring cost trends can be done using the Employer Cost Index, or ECI, and the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. The ECI and CPI have both been rising. The ECI tends to experience a continuous increase, while the CPI experiences ups and downs, but an overall increase. We will discuss this further in the next few slides, as well as the effect that the CPI has on employment. This graph shows the ECI from 2005 to 2016. In 2005, the ECI was 98. The ECI rose to 126 in 2016. This was a 28.6% increase over 11 years. While the recession of 2007 to 2009 did slow the growth of the ECI, it did not cause a decrease, and the ECI has continued to rise. This shows that even during periods of recession, the cost of employment can still increase. This graph shows the Consumer Price Index. In July 1996, the CPI was 157. The CPI has increased to 239.828 as of July 2016. Over this 20-year period, the CPI rose by 52.6%. While there has been an overall large increase in the CPI, it does have decreases during recession periods, such as the recession of 2007 to 2009. The CPI reached a peak of 219.016 in July 2008 and then dropped quickly to 211.933 in January 2009 before ascending again. The decreases in the CPI means that the cost consumers were paying for goods and services decreased due to the recession. This would also mean that firms lowered prices on their products to make them more attractive to consumers. Due to the CPI decreasing and firms needing to lower their prices, firms also need to compensate for the lower prices. This typically means laying off workers in order to still make the same profit margins as before. This would mean that when the CPI decreases, unemployment increases. During the 2007 to 2009 recession, the United States experienced large declines in the employment rate. Employment dropped from about 138,413,000 in December 2007 to 129,774,000 in December 2009. There was a decrease of 8,639,000 jobs in just 2 years. Luckily, the employment rate has increased since the last recession to 144,598,000 jobs. This is an increase of 6,185,000 jobs since before the recession and 14,824,000 jobs after the recession. Causes for increases in employment costs can include wage and benefit cost increases due to more highly skilled workers. The demand for highly skilled workers keeps increasing. With more skills, workers expect to receive better pay and better benefits than they would without skills. Otherwise, what is the point in obtaining extra skills if you are just going to get paid the same? Inflation also plays a role in the increase of employment costs. As mentioned previously, the average wage per hour in 1996 was $13.48 per hour. Using the CPI from 1996 and the CPI from 2016, we can calculate that a wage of $13.48 per hour in 1996 is equal to a wage of $20.59 per hour in 2016. The amount is still $2.76 less than the average of $23.35 per hour in 2016, which means there is still room for other factors such as the increase of benefits for higher skilled workers. The ECI doesn't show any decreases in the cost of employment, just periods of slower growth. These periods of slower growth can likely be attributed to layoffs of several workers during recessions. It could also be attributed to employers offering less hours to employees and moving them from full-time positions to part-time positions, which would eliminate the cost of benefits as well as decrease the cost of wages. Overall, cost of employment will continue its upward trend over the years due to increases in benefit costs, increases in highly skilled workers, and increases in the inflation rate. Employers need to be prepared for these increases if they wish to remain competitive.